Doraemon placed a steak inside a meat pod seed, then buried the seed in the ground and watered it. By the next day, it had grown into a steak tree. Doraemon snipped the steak off with a pair of scissors, and divided it into portions for everyone to enjoy. The steak was a little hot, but it tasted even better than a 3-grade beef. The only problem was that each tree could grow only one steak. Everyone was disappointed because they were still hungry, and planting more trees would require a lot more space. So Sunio immediately offered up his family's backyard. He also brought out all kinds of meat dishes his mom had collected. Seeing that, Doraemon pulled out a whole pile of meat pod seeds. Everyone stuffed different meats into the seeds and headed to the yard to plant them. Just then, Shizuka stopped Nobita, saying the spot didn't get enough sunlight. They needed to move a little farther ahead. Doraemon told Nobita to plant the seed in the center of the soil, while he and Sunio headed to a shady spot to grow beef stew. As soon as they watered them, the seeds quickly sprouted. Then Sunio brought over a bag of chicken manure, and asked Nobita to fertilize the plants. Only then would they grow into perfect dishes. With everyone's careful attention, the meat trees began growing at an incredible rate. By nightfall, the tiny sprouts had become towering trees. However, after Nobita and Doraemon returned home, they learned that a heavy rainstorm was expected that night. Meanwhile, Sunio had already started building supports for the meat trees. Fortunately, Nobita and Doraemon arrived just in time. They immediately helped Sunio protect the trees. The next day, after the rain stopped, Nobita and Sunio were completely exhausted, but the thought of eating all that delicious food instantly lifted their spirits. Sure enough, every meat tree was covered with mouth-watering dishes. Their hard work had paid off. Each one smelled amazing and tasted even better. Just then, John arrived at Sunio's house. The moment he saw all the delicious food, he started stuffing himself without hesitation. In no time, he had eaten every last bite. Everyone scolded him for being so selfish, but faced with John's fists, Sunio backed down. John then left. Nobita and the others were furious. Shizuka comforted them, saying they could simply grow more. So Sunio brought out the fresh meat his mom had just bought, and the four of them planted another batch. The next day, John returned to Sunio's house. When he saw that the old trees no longer had any meat on them, he set his sights on the newly planted meat trees. What he didn't know was that Nobita and the others had already moved the real meat trees to the back hill. Nobita enjoyed a huge skewer of grilled lamb. Doraemon ate a roast duck wrap. Sunio feasted on roast chicken, and Shizuka enjoyed braised pork. Meanwhile, Doraemon guessed that John had already arrived at Sunio's house. They had even prepared a trap for him. Ignoring their warning, John picked a fruit and swallowed it whole. In an instant, his face turned bright red from the heat. The fruit was actually filled with an unbelievably spicy piece of fried chicken.